Hey guys, it's Ty with Ty the Dog Guy on the Daily. If you're watching the video portion of this podcast, you'll see that it is very dark outside. Was just at my daughter's dance recital, got home and realized, oh, Chocolate Chip needs a walk. It might be really late outside, but she just sure needs a walk. I wanted to talk today about differences. You know, I've been watching my kids tonight, and it's made me think of something. The way that I raise my kids and the way that I work with my dogs is so different. In fact, I remember one time there was this trainer. He's this trainer that's against using any sort of correction with dogs. And he thought he caught me in like this gotcha moment because he was like, well, you've got 4 kids, right? Yeah, I've got 4 kids, 4 daughters. Well, would you ever use an electric collar on your daughters? And I was like, no. And he's like, well, why not? Why would you use it on a dog? And I'm like, well, for the same reason I don't take my little girls out in the front yard and make them poop on the grass, and the same reason I don't put them on a leash. You know, just because something is good for one species doesn't mean it's good for the next species. And so I treat my kids different than my dogs because my kids are different than my dogs. So what I mean by that is, like I say, I've got 4 kids. Oldest is 10, youngest is 3, and I have never spanked my kids. And actually, I get some flack from people from that. You know, people say, oh, kids need to be spanked and they need to learn respect. And I don't think it works that way, personally. Now, maybe you disagree, and that's fine. I'm not going to tell you how to raise your kids. I will tell you how to raise your dogs, though, because that's what I do for a living. But like I said, I'm not going to tell you how to raise your kids. But what I can tell you is that kids and dogs are different in that kids have a different power of reasoning. Now, if you've ever spent a little bit of time with kids, you might be like, no, dude, kids do not have a different power of reasoning. You know, my kids can't even remember to, go to the bathroom when they need to go to the bathroom or anything like that. They're not thinking, they're not, these kids are nuts. But the reality is kids can reason. I know we can joke about it, but they can reason. And if they can't reason, then what's the point in spanking them? Why am I going to hit, or spank a kid that doesn't understand reason? And if they do understand reason, let me use that. And when I say reason, they have the ability to see cause and effect. They much better than a dog. Even though a child might be 5 and a dog's mentality might be equivalent to a 5-year-old, we're talking about mentality there. But ability to reason is bigger and better in a kid than it is a dog. And so I can use different consequences with my children. I can take away a privilege, and it makes more sense. If you take away a privilege from a dog, it kind of makes sense, but it's not motivating enough for most dogs. I can sit down and I can help my kids realize what their decisions mean to other people and teach them to be decent human beings and teach them, I can teach them all these things. Whereas dogs, I love them, but they don't have the same moral ability and compass that our children do and that we as adults do. And so, like I say, for that reason, I just simply don't spank my kids. But I absolutely do use correction with dogs. Now, when I say correction, what I'm referring to is a tug on a leash, an e-collar, correction with an e-collar, a spray bottle, any one of those things. But the philosophy here with correction with dogs is that the idea is, any correction needs to be humane and fair. And so when I say humane and fair, we're not looking to cause pain. Is it uncomfortable? Sure. Does it cause discomfort? Absolutely. Any correction more than likely would. Some don't. But anyways, we're not looking to cause pain, though. We're just simply looking to grab the dog's attention. We're looking to use it as a teaching moment. And we're understanding that these dogs don't reason. That they don't, I can teach my kid, look, there's a car coming, it will hit you. I can't explain that to a dog. I can't say to the dog, look, there's a car coming, don't chase the cat because I've got a treat. And the dog's like, screw the treat, I'm going for the cat. And you're like, wait a minute, but there's a car coming. And the dog's like, okay, my ability to reason is there. I'm not going to chase that cat anymore. It doesn't work like that. And we can go through the list of a million things, I can teach my kids it's not polite, to say mean words to other people. I can't do that to a dog and say, hey, listen, it's not polite to, it's not polite to jump on people when they come through the door. That level of reasoning just isn't there. So like I say, for that reason, I train my dogs way different than than I raise my kids. I hope for my kids to be completely autonomous from me, one day. And I never hope that for my dogs. My dogs were never going to get completely autonomous from me. That ability will never be there. So, like I say, for that reason, we must train our dogs different than we raise our kids. And anyone that says otherwise is just kind of fooling themselves. Like I said, I still chuckle at that trainer who thought he gotcha. You would never use a leash and collar with your kids. Nope, and I'd never make them eat dog food either. So, signing out. Have a great day, guys.